And the story I always talk about, everyone hears this, it's in the book. I've got a video on my YouTube page. It's the story of Angie.
Yeah.
Angie is the one that I always talk about. She actually lives here locally in Richardson. She was a mom of like 3 kids, basically had migraines every 3 days, and they would last for 3 days. So if you could do the math, that's
All the time?
that's pretty much all the time, and in varying levels of how intense they were.
Yeah.
And I, of course, was marketing myself very heavily as the migraine doc. So friends of ours mutually were like, you should go see my friend. He says that he helps people with that. And she, like 6 months before, was like, I've already tried everything. I'm not going to go see that guy. Like, what a waste of time. I've already tried everything. This is my life. And so, you know, a few months later, she ends up in my office, and I'm like going over everything with her, and I'm explaining the functional nervous system testing. And she goes, yeah, I got all that. And I'm like, bullshit. Like, nobody knows about this stuff. I'm talking about stuff that's not common knowledge. How do you know about all this? And she goes, I did all my research on you before I came in here because I didn't want to waste my time because I've already tried a lot of things. So I was like, okay, so no bullshit. Like, just go through the stuff. I don't need to hear all this stuff. Just tell me what's going on. And I was like, you got it. So I asked her, I'm like, you know, well, what got you in here? Like, she told me like I was gonna come. A friend of mine has been telling me for a while. Finally came in here, and she was like, well, one day I was at home, and I was having a really bad migraine flare up. My husband had to go pick up the kids from school, and they came in the house, and I heard one of my kids say, oh, does mom have a headache again, or does mom have a migraine again? And it, like, something about that moment at that time just crushed her. Like, I'm not able to be the mom that I want to be, to hang out with my friends, to go on vacations, to do all these things, because I'm sick all the time. I'm dealing with this constantly, and so it doesn't allow me to be able to have the life that I want to live, and it's affecting my kids now, and I deserve to give every single thing a shot that I can in order to do this. So she came in, go through the process, send her home, come back, we go over everything, because I'm like, let me make sure I can assess all this, make sure this is the right thing, because I don't recommend things if I don't feel like we can help you. I will send you wherever is going to get you the help that you need. Go over it. She comes in. I'm like, yeah, we're going to be able to do it. She's like, all right, let's do it. Get her first adjustment. In our office, after you get her adjusted, you go back and rest in our zero gravity chairs. One of the things that we do that's different is, like, my job isn't to adjust you every single time that you come in. My job is to adjust you only when you need it, so that you don't need me forever. I'm not a 3 times a week for the rest of your life doctor. That's not what chiropractors do. If they do, go find a new one. What I do is I'm working with your body slowly over time so that you eventually don't need me. I don't want to be a Band-Aid every time that you need that. I'm just the physical version of a Tylenol at that point. Like, I'm not doing any better. You're just trading one thing for another thing. I want to empower you to know that your body's an amazing healing organism. And if I can work with it to make sure your nervous system's functioning, that doesn't mean you won't deal with other shit. It means that your body will function way better. So, you know, when I take people through that process, that's no bullshit. That's what we walk people through. You can ask my patients. They have visits that they come in. We high five and we celebrate the fact that they did not need to be adjusted that day, because that's how we roll. And I remember hearing that in school, and I'm like, that's not possible. My job is to freaking crack necks, bro. That's what we do. And it's like, no, that's not how we do it, which is what attracted me to this work. But for Angie, she comes in, does that, adjusts her. I'm like, hey, I will call you later to check in on you and see how you're doing. We always check in after their first call, check on her. She's like, I'm feeling great. Thank you so much. I'm super excited. I'll see you on Wednesday. I'm like, cool. She comes in on Wednesday, bring her back, scan her. I'm like, how have you been feeling? She goes, I haven't had a migraine since I came in here for my first visit. I go, cool, awesome. Look at the scan. Scan looks good. Still holding your adjustment. You don't need to be adjusted. Cool, we're good. Comes in the next week. How are we feeling? Still migraine free. She would mess with me. She's like, I know you have a little voodoo doll in the back that you like mess around with to make it, but like, we went from like all the time to like none. She had one time about 9 months in where she had a stressful family situation that almost sent her into a flare up that fortunately she did need to be adjusted. We got her out of it. She never had any issues, but it was one of those where it was like, just immediately it changed for her. And then I love telling her story because she's very funny. She's literally one of my favorite people. Like, she has so many friends, and I know why, because she's just an awesome person, which is why I'm so glad. It's hard because I don't see her as often anymore because she's feeling better. So that's the hard part, is like, you're like family with me. I'm around you all the time, and then you're gone because you're feeling better.